Well, good morning, all. Thank you very much. It's indeed an honor and privilege to welcome so many home buyers here to the White House this morning. You know, we've been talking about ownership all week here, and one of the things we've been really focusing on is making it easier for first-time homeowners to purchase that home. Um, and so I'm so fortunate to have so many different first-time homeowners from different parts of the community of the country here today. We have folks from Texas, Charlotte, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Boston here today. So good to have each and every one of you here. Um, you know, like I said, it's great to have so many folks here today. First-time buyers, young families, local realtors, builders, and housing advocates from suburban communities across the country. You're the reason we're here to talk about suburban housing, equality, and first-time buyer incentives. How we make home ownership possible again for the families who work hard, save responsible, and want to put down roots in the neighborhoods where they belong. Like I mentioned, we have folks here from Texas, Charlotte, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Boston. And I hear the same thing from young parents, teachers, nurses, and veterans. They're doing everything right, but they're being priced out. They're doing everything right, but they're being priced out. They're not just competing against each other anymore. The way it used to be, used to compete against your fellow prospective buyer, right? But now you're competing against billion-dollar funds and corporate investors to buy homes in bulk and turn them into rentals, which in the long term leads to decay in a community. Now, I'm not saying that every one of these guys are bad, and I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there are some who do it for the wrong reasons. And when they do that, they turn into rentals and they drive up the prices, like I mentioned, to astronomical rates. That's not right. Homes are for families. They're not to be listed on portfolios. So this roundtable here this morning is about listening to you. I want to hear what's working in your local markets, what's blocking first-time buyers. Which one of you guys here today are first-time buyers, and what's causing you to have problems getting that first-time loan? I remember 28 years ago when I got my first home loan. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. We were going through a real estate company. It wasn't easy. So I can just imagine how much more difficult it's got today. And what I also want to hear about where are the biggest regulatory barriers to building more attainable homes. And my home city, we're right about, I think we're about 85% occupied. When I say that, that's the amount of property that's developed in our city. We're getting ready to be totally maxed out in our community, and we're landlocked. We got a community to the north, south, east, and west. We can't grow anywhere, and so when that gets maxed out, what happens? And so I want to see what we can do to also cut down the unnecessary red tape and regulatory barriers that make it too expensive and too slow to build the modest, attainable homes families need. Is there things we can do on the zoning side, planning and zoning? I know that we can't infringe upon local government, and we would never do that. But what can HUD do from our level? What can they do to help out to make it a little bit easier to attain these homes? Making down payment assistance and tax incentives that prioritize owner occupants and first-time buyers. Again, what is it that this administration can do? One of the things I want to see us to do, I want us to be the most home-friendly administration there is. I want to see every person who has the income to do. I want them to have a home where they can raise their kids, and they can call that place a home. and put down roots. You know, and working with state and local communities to protect neighborhoods from being turned into corporate rental portfolios. I talked about that a little bit earlier this week. What is it that we can do from the federal level that we can, I don't want to say that we can prohibit people from selling their homes. That's unconstitutional, and we would never do that. But um, what can we do to make the incentive to go through a real estate broker? Do it the right way, because so many times these home prospectors, they just see dollar signs, and they don't really see investment in the community. I would often challenge you to think sometimes when you talk to them, ask them who the mayor of the town is. What's the population? They won't know. They're calling from remote, or they're buying land or homes from remote states and have no idea what's going on in that city. And my challenge to them, and I said this earlier this week, my challenge to them, you want to buy in that city? There is property. Go buy it. There's a real estate agent. Go find them. Buy it. That's what I say to them. Don't come into these communities and don't take advantage of these first-time home buyers who are trying to settle down and make that city their home. You know, and I'm saying this. I'm saying we're not about stopping all investment or all rentals. It's about stopping the financialization of the American home and making sure hardworking families can afford to own a place where they can raise their kids, build memories, and put down roots. I think about my home in my town, my hometown in Texas, just a couple of blocks away from my high school where I graduated from, and got very fond memories of that. And so it's changed a lot there today, but I got a lot of memories of that, and I want people to have those memories as well. So we're here today to talk to you. We're going to usher the press out and go ahead and get started like I've always done at these things. These things are very, I want this to be very frank and very open discussion. So we're going to get ready to talk to our home buyers, and we appreciate the press. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.